I'm fine, Faye. How are you doing through all of this?
I'm good. I'm surviving. Thankfully, I can Zoom with you and others to keep me going, give me tips, give me advice so I can keep myself on track, keep my feet grounded.
That's a good thing.
So I'm happy that we're connecting again for our health, wellness, and lifestyle. The response from the tips in our session we had last time was fantastic. Um, there's a lot more that I'd like to ask and talk to you about, and from feedback we've gotten, one thing I know that you've always stressed the importance of is stretching. Something simple but so important.
Well, I think for especially during this period of time, if people don't start moving and walking, they're just going to put on a lot of pandemic pounds. So when people start to do exercise that they're not used to doing, that they haven't done in a long time, or that they've never taken it to this level, they can run into problems if they don't follow some simple guidelines. And here's the thing. You always want to prepare your body for what it's about to experience. When we wake up in the morning and our legs have been elevated all night, there's less blood flow to the feet than ordinarily when we're standing and gravity is helping to pull it down. So when we wake up in the morning, we have muscles that are not well filled with blood. Why do we need blood? Because it gives us everything we need to survive: oxygen, nutrients, and it carries away toxins. So we start with simple stretches in the morning, or if you're going to go out and do a long walk, you do it before the walk. What it does is it helps open up the muscles, and muscles are kind of, they look like this when they're tight. When you stretch them, they look like this, and those spaces can fill with blood. So we have a muscle that's ready for the activity. It's loaded with the blood that's required as the muscle works and functions, and we put it through its typical exercise routine. It functions by contracting. All muscles function by contracting. So if you go out and take a 2, 3, 4, 5 mile walk, that's a lot of contractions. When you get back, you've had a muscle that's highly metabolically active. It's liberating lots of toxins, because at the end of every metabolic process are byproducts that the body needs to get rid of. And one of the things we want to do when we're done exercising, or at the end of the day, is to stretch again. So that helps to open the muscles up so it can dump all of these toxins out into the lymphatic system so they can be eliminated by the body. The toxins that are not eliminated can ultimately do damage to the body. And we have muscles in the lower extremity that hold an enormous amount of toxins because they're large muscles and they have a lot of surface area and a lot of cells. So we want to make sure that we've stretched before and after exercise, or in the morning and evening, so we have healthier muscle dynamics. And then we move to the next level, which is people who are exercising more than they've ever done before, or doing some of these rigorous routines that are being recommended.
Yes. Oh my God. Even in my own household, coworkers, there's so many different challenges out there that are trending, and everyone's trying them, from men to women to teenagers. So, and and there's a lot of injuries though going on in the same respect as well.
Right, which I've been getting phone calls, although people are still afraid to come to the office. But here's the thing. When you put yourself through an extreme type of exercise, you're increasing the metabolic activity to a point that your body's not used to. So now it has all of these toxic byproducts built up in the muscles, and it may not have the proper protection to eliminate them. So by that I mean byproducts are positively charged ions. We call them free radicals. And the body gets rid of them through a number of different pathways. Primarily, binding to antioxidants is the #1 form of protection, because antioxidants are negatively charged. So we can successfully neutralize and eliminate all of these toxic byproducts if we have proper antioxidant protection. And the second thing, of course, is proper hydration. You want to be able to help your body flush these things out so they don't stay in the system, recirculate, and go right back into your cells and do damage. And in case people don't understand the dynamic, free radicals are responsible for inflammation, chronic inflammation, and ultimately degenerative change in the body if they're not well managed.
That I mean, it's you hit it right on the nose, and people don't know the options. Also, what to be wary of. Also, what to avoid. I think from stretching to what to be careful and conscious of what fitness regimen you're getting involved with, and I think which brings us to the next important element because it forms a synergy, right? Would be supplementation. Again, there's so much. Every day I'm seeing something you floated out, something it there, there's no like magic, but it forms a synergy. You got to do a
Right,
sequence. You got to be careful about it, right?
right, absolutely. So I can recommend some, potent supplements, and I'll talk about them now. I just want to start that little part of my conversation by telling people if you do have underlying medical problems, if you're on medications, before you take anything I'm recommending, run it by your physicians and make sure you get the okay to do it because it's an important part of helping your body. There are supplements that may help most people, but if you're on certain medications, it may not be a good idea. So just check before you do it. But getting back to that, I would say this. One of the things we want to do is have readily available antioxidants, and one of the quickest ways to get that into the body is through vitamin C. I do recommend something called liposomal vitamin C, and the reason I recommend it is it's more stable in the GI tract, and because it's surrounded by a phospholipid molecule, it can help it penetrate into not only water-soluble cells, but fat-soluble cells. So vitamin C is critical. The next thing I recommend is something called glutathione. Glutathione is probably the most prevalent antioxidant system in the human body. It protects the liver, it protects cells all over the body. I also recommend that in a liposomal form. And the liposomal forms can come in capsules, they can come in liquid. I do recommend liquid because it seems to have a better absorption capability and better bioavailability than the other types. And between vitamin C and glutathione, you'll have pretty good antioxidant protection. The next level, of course, is to add in a comprehensive antioxidant formula. And there's many, many of those types out there. It just gives you more varied types of nutrients that supply vitamin C and more varied types of nutrients that give you antioxidant protection and can quench free radicals. And I think that's critically important. When it comes to protecting all of the body, I think the number one thing people have to take is vitamin D3. Vitamin D3 is not simply a vitamin, it's a cofactor. It helps with hormone production and hormone utilization. It protects the body from chronic inflammatory stress. It's been shown to minimize the effects of changes in cells that can eventually lead to cancers. It's a really important nutrient, and because we're not really getting it out in the sunshine the way we used to, I think it's an important thing to supplement, and I think everybody should get a vitamin D3 test when they go to the doctor for their usual tests. For supporting the immune system in general, we have to feed it just like we have to feed every other cell of our body. The number one way that the immune system gets fed is through short-chain fatty acids, and those don't exist in nature. They're generated by the healthy bacteria in our gut by fermenting complex carbohydrates. And one of the things that we need is a well-fed immune system. So when the body generates these short-chain fatty acids, we'll have a healthier immune system. So taking good probiotics becomes very important. And of course, there's so many different types out there. There are some that are better than others. There are some that come in forms that are more readily available. That's something that you can discuss with your doctor or whatever physician you're working with in the realm of a more functional medicine approach, but it becomes an important part of it. We also want to quench the body's capability of continuing a chronic inflammatory response. And there's a couple of things that do it really well. One is curcumin, which is derived from the root turmeric. which I highly recommend. Bromelain, which is an enzyme from pineapple stems, which is very, and of course fish oil, the omega-3 fatty acids, which have also been shown to minimize some of the effects of chronic inflammation. So that's a little inflammatory tonic, anti-inflammatory tonic, I should say, to kind of keep things healthy and well. And I'll just mention briefly, because we're going through a pandemic and everybody's worried about catching a virus, there's no guarantee that any supplement will prevent the virus, but we do know there are certain supplements that are known to be potently antiviral. Part of it comes from mushroom extracts, because in nature, they are competitive with a lot of viral components. So we recommend maitake, reishi, shiitake mushroom extracts, because they are potently antiviral, as is olive leaf extract, which is also another very good one. Garlic, which is another good one. There's a bunch of different antiviral properties to these compounds. And will I guarantee that you won't get COVID? No. Will I say that it's been shown to have antiviral properties? Absolutely. So that's kind of a short list. It's a bit of a comprehensive short list, but I think it gives people a sense of something they can do other than just putting on masks and gloves and spraying everything and hiding in the house.
Well, it's interesting you say that, is because, I mean, I'm sure we've all felt that we want to get out, we want to do things, but we also, the worst feeling is to feel like you can't do anything, or you feel like you can't support yourself to do something. And what's great about what you went through all the steps today of different ways you can help yourself, you can support your system, from starting from the feet up, which is awesome. And because you
Right.
need it for your overall health and wellness, which then affects your lifestyle. So, but I wanted to ask you a question. Is there like a particular brand that you like or prefer? That's my, one question I wanted to know. And also, are you available if people have questions, they want to have a televisit with you, they can reach out and you can kind of go over everything with them, and
Right.
must be
Oh,
helpful.
yeah. I mean, absolutely. I'm certainly not adverse to helping people during the pandemic. They could reach me directly on my telephone at 516-369-3172. They can also email me at drrobertkornfeld@gmail.com, which is DRRobertKornfeld@gmail.com. And to answer your question about brands, I certainly prefer the brands that are GMP rated, which means they're pharmaceutical grade, which means they guarantee what's on the label is in the bottle. And there's a number of really great companies that I could recommend, and it depends on which supplement we're recommending at the time. But, I can certainly help people with that. There are some not GMP rated supplements that have also been proven through studies to perform very well. And just because they don't have the GMP rating doesn't necessarily mean it's not a good supplement. It's just more reliability, because there are a lot of supplements out there that are, quite inferior, unfortunately.
Uh, uh, Thank you, Doc. I mean, I personally, I know I've had to call, or I've had an emergency visit with my daughter. It's great. I want people to know that, because injuries happen, and
Oh, sure.
we don't want people flooding and running to the ER, you know.
Correct. No, I'm happy to see anybody in either one of my offices that wants to come in, either in Manhattan or Long Island. Needless to say, getting an appointment with me now is rather easy during the pandemic. But, by all means, if anybody wants to reach out and ask me questions, they certainly can.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you. And I'm looking forward to our next session. We have another hot topic we're going to be talking about. So thank you so
Okay.
much, Doc.
My pleasure, Faye. Good to see you.